When you're installing extensions for volume, which would be making your hair appear thicker, the placement of the extensions is going to be different for everyone. For me, I want to fill in this front part here. So the main focus is going to be on this front, but it may be opposite for you. You may have shorter hair or thinner hair in the back that you're trying to even out with the front. So this is unlike when you're adding extensions for length, where it's a pretty basic guide or placement pattern for everybody. If you're creating volume, you probably have hair like me. It's either fine or thin, or it can be both. So blending these is super important. And one of the very best ways to blend hair extensions, aside from placement, is to make sure the color matches. These are the ones I'm going to use today. The blonde in it is a little bit too bright, so I will probably have to tone these with a toning conditioner afterwards. Normally I would color match them before I install them, but it's not too terrible, so we're just going to go with it. I'm using hair from Amazon. It's by a company called Full Shine. I'll also put that in the description box, but just note that these are mediocre at best. You're going to get about a month out of these. If you take care of them, you can retape them and wear them for one more month, but I've never really been able to get past 2 months with this hair. It's just not high quality. And before you start, you want to make sure your hair is clean. You've shampooed it with a clarifying shampoo, and if you have to use conditioner, it's only on the ends. You want your hair to be free of oils and buildup because that's what makes these slide out faster. Now you're going to take a look and see where you need the most volume added. So again, for me, I want to focus here on this gap. Now these extensions have a basic bond. This is the basic size, but I'm actually going to cut this in half for this part around my hairline. So now you're left with a smaller bond. This will help hide them better, but they are going to come out a little bit faster because it's missing half the bond. Take a thin little sliver of hair. We're leaving out the actual hairline. You don't want to tape in right there, right here, or right here. Okay. Take off the tape, match it to the diagonal line, and it's a little bit down. It's not way up here. You don't want them too tight. Press the hair down. My hands are clean. You don't want oil or anything on your hands. That's gonna loosen the bond. But see how it's not directly on my scalp? If you do that, they're gonna become too tight and snap and break your real hair. Then you take the sticky side off the other one, and it goes directly on top. Press it down. Then you're gonna take a flat iron and tap, tap, tap. You'll be able to hear like a little sizzle noise. That's the glue melting. It is very hot, so you can use pliers, needle nose pliers if you want, or just wait a second and start using your fingers. And you want to rub it like this because you're trying to get the melted glue to intertwine with your hair, if that makes sense. I like to go over the edges just to be sure, so I do them again. If your hair is super fine or even super thin, you can also leave the bond like this and just cut these in half. Whoops. Okay, I'm making this harder than it is. Cut it in half like this. So you have your thin piece of hair extension with the sticky side up, put the hair down, take your other extension, so it's extension, hair, extension, sandwiched on top, place it directly on the top of that one, heat it, tap, 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 till you hear the little bubbling noise, and then match them together, moving it around a bit. I'm gonna apply one here, a full one. So this goes back to not really having a pattern like you do when you're adding extensions for length. There's a certain pattern you follow. For the most part, this is kind of at random. It's depending on how your haircut is or where your thinner spots are. You do want to be mindful though, the texture of your hair. My hair is very fine, so I do need to be mindful of matching the textures because the texture is different. This hair is a lot thicker in diameter versus my hair. So yes, I do have to add some in the back or it's going to be obvious that there's some sort of disconnect. The best way to make sure that these are in balance is to do one at a time. So I did one here, then I'll do one on this side. I did the micro one here, I'll do the micro one on this side. I'm gonna do a full one here, I'll do a full one on this side. That way it's balanced. I'm just doing one side at a time so you can see the before and after side. Traditional style, why are these staticky like that? Traditional style, just keeping the full thing on there. I don't want to get too close to my ear. I am going to do this horizontal right here, but it's far enough away where it's not going to bother it. Lay that one down. That one actually is a little crooked. So if you see it's not right, here's your only chance to really peel this thing off very gently. Marry its little friend on top, kind of feeling to make sure they're even. Press down. Oh, my flat iron's off. Okay. What? I'll probably add 2 in the back. The back of my hair is a little bit thicker than the front, and I don't have any holes, I'm just probably gonna add one on the bottom here and one on the top. That's gonna help blend this texture, and also when I curl it, my natural hair doesn't hold curl really well, but the hair extensions do, so it will help hide the fact that my hair just doesn't wanna do anything. The best way to do the back is either have a partner do it or do the 2 mirrors. So you'll have a mirror here and a mirror in the back, parting it down the middle, following the head shape. Some of these where the head is starting to turn round need to be a little bit diagonal versus horizontal, so the hair's not pulling to get into the extension. You wanna try to avoid the middle if possible, but pretend if you cut your head in half like this, you can start going in the middle up here, but don't go up too far because then you're gonna be able to see them. I'm just gonna do these based off of feeling. And for the back, I use the whole bond. Here's where I put the last one. I'm gonna part it down the middle and the back, and it's best to do this in little sections. Cutting extensions is a little bit different from cutting real hair. So this is my real hair. That's gonna be my reference point here. I'm gonna take this and cut straight across, but below it. So here's my real hair, and I'm not pulling a bunch of tension. I'm just kind of letting it fall and cutting below, straight across. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna point cut this. Then I'm gonna take it up and point cut this, which is just taking the tip of your shear and going in. You can go straight up and down, or to take out more bulk, you can go to the side. It's a feathering technique, but I do leave mine pretty blunt because it makes it look a little bit thicker. Take down another piece, wide tooth comb, brush it out. Same thing. And if you don't want to cut the blunt line first, you can just go in and point cut it. This one's by my ear, so I definitely don't want to hold tension because I'll get a hole. So I'm just gonna hold it very loose, create my straight line, and I'm gonna leave this front part a little bit longer because I'm gonna etch out a layer. Last piece here. I'm using my real hair as a guide, so it's determining the length. The ends still need a little bit of work, but you can see there's a big bulk of weight. So I need to blend this bang. These are very staticky. Blend the bang to the rest. I'm gonna carve out the front, that's before the ear. Take it kind of at a diagonal and just slide cut this down, just using the very top or belly of the shear and kind of etching. You're not going in and hacking at it. I want this to look very natural. I'm not trying to recreate the same exact haircut I had before this. And then taking it out this way. This is the wrong way to do this, but there's a little bit. And then I'm gonna find my natural hair. Here's my natural hair, here's the fake hair. I'm just gonna blend those two together, not taking off a lot at all. The natural one will fall, there it is. So it's almost like you're shaving off that mountain peak. That's going to even that out. I probably do need to point cut these a little shorter. Looks like it's a little longer than my natural hair, but I will wait till after I tone that. And I use the Bold Unique conditioning toner to tone these to match my real hair. I just put it on for about 3 minutes. But for now, this is good. But you can see the difference in filling in that gap or creating volume.